I wanted to do a quick tutorial on how I collect NASA autographs and space-related items, and I'll give you some of the information on how I do that. The first item I wanted to show is an 8x10 that I got via email success, and this is to Henry Best Wishes Bernard Harris Jr. Bernard Harris Jr. was on 2 space missions, and he has also kindly gave me an address that I can write to him because I have a space mission envelope that I want him to sign for my shuttle mission project. The other things I wanted to show is an envelope, or I'm sorry, is a NASA notes binder, and this is where I keep all the notes and lists and checklists that I have, such as space shuttle astronauts. The yellow and blue ones are the astronauts that I have written to and gotten. Some of them have addresses and other notes behind them marking that they have deceased, etc. And so there's that list. And then I also have lists for all the shuttle missions starting from 1 to 135. And you can see all the ones in blue and green. Those are the ones that I have gotten. And I've had either, astronauts or shuttle officials or somebody connected to the mission where they are the scientist or project manager, director of the Space Center or whatever, Space Center at the time, and so they have to have the particular date on that envelope. So it's not a generic envelope I'm sending off. I have other lists, including a cross-check list. These are also the Space Shuttle crew missions. The blue ones are astronauts that I've gotten, but not necessarily for the mission. I've also marked off the died astronauts in gray, and that gives me an idea of which ones that I have to purchase through eBay for that particular mission. You will find that if you go on eBay, you'll find lots of the earlier shuttle missions, and people have made customs or companies have made mass quantities for the earlier shuttle missions. But once you get past 51L, which is the shuttle Challenger disaster, you won't find a lot of missions. This is another list of spacecraft that have gone in the air, satellites, etc. And I've crossed off the envelopes that I've gotten and made notes if somebody has autographed that envelope. And so there's a lot of that stuff in there. I also have other places where I get stuff, such as a Goodwill by the pound or the outlet. And these are a bunch of postcards, I guess, postcard-sized pictures of the International Space Station and kind of bookmarks promoting NASA education spacesuits or whatever, and I got a whole bunch of those. It cost me a whole $1 for a stack of those. I also found a bunch of pictures that somebody took when they went to Kennedy Space Center, and they were in an album, so I took those out and just bought those, and that would be a nice thing to have signed. I also have a book that I got for $1 at a library that had a section where you could buy used books that were either customer donated or ex-library, and this is before this decade is out, and I'm going to read that fairly soon, and that's good information on astronauts, etc. These are some envelopes that I have not sent out to anybody. Those are going to be eventually mailed off. This one is a custom-made one. Somebody just sent it to Titusville, Florida, and then stamped a shuttle on there, and they do whatever they want. This is my NASA binder, the main one that has all the autographs in it. Just a picture I cut out of a book that I found, again, a used book that I cut out the picture of. And some of these things are signed and some of them are not. Mary Cleave picture there is not signed. And these are some that I have had signed. I purchased these on eBay for $1 or $2. And you want to stay within $1 or $2, maybe $3 or $4, but a lot of times you will not get your envelopes back. And so that's kind of a tough thing when you find the mission that you want. This is Merritt Island, Florida, 1989, August 8th, and I made sure that Dave Leestma was on that particular mission. You can send out general, envelopes, and sometimes they're actually getting harder to find generic NASA envelopes. So you may want to make one yourself for somebody who's just going to, like Don Peterson. He was on STS-6, but this is not from STS-6. This is just because I didn't have an envelope for him and I felt kind of bad, so I just mailed that one off. But nice. And Don Peterson also sent me a bunch of extras. This is a Gene Kranz envelope that I custom made out of a 1964 World's Fair first day cover, and I ran that through the printer and found a 1964 era picture of Gene Kranz, and he nicely autographed that for me. And so that's the only one. That's a one of one. As more, here's a picture from Wink Flash when I did Wink Flash of Milt Heflin, the NASA flight director, Space Shuttle flight director.